Let's go on to a question from Kate.
All right.
How do you respond to a Christian who argues that the law should give women a choice when it comes to murdering their child in the womb, abortion, because God allows us to have free will as human beings and doesn't force us to follow his commands or obey him?
So this is an argument that proves too much, because the same argument can be used with every wrong. God gives us free choice. He gives us free choice to do wrong. So let's just take Kate's Christian friend who raises this. God gives Kate the free choice to bust her friend right in the mouth. So why would we object to her doing that? Why would we say, Kate, you shouldn't bust your friend in the mouth? Because, after all, God gave you the free choice to do it. You can't claim it's wrong, or we shouldn't do anything to restrain you, because remember, this is the parallel with abortion. Why we shouldn't restrain a woman from harming her child, because God would give her the freedom to do the evil thing. But the restraint is to keep people from doing evil to other people. This is called civilization.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And this coming from a Christian, that's why I said Kate should bust her in the mouth. Let her live according to her own principles. We shouldn't have any laws restraining people's evil behavior because God gives the freedom to do the evil. Yes, but God doesn't give the license to do that.
And he doesn't free people from the consequences either. He instituted government to bear the sword, to keep order and to punish evil and to reward the good.
What's the point of any of the Mosaic law? Or just take the Ten Commandments just writ large as moral demands on humankind. Why any of those? God gives us this is where it becomes hard for me to understand how people can think like this, and that it's coming from Kate's friend, apparently, or acquaintance, a Christian. No. We should not have any laws against things that we want to do that are evil because God gives us the freedom to do evil. Wait, run that by me again. So no laws. This is why I say it proves too much. If we apply this consistently, and this is a taking the roof off tactic, okay, let's see where this leads. No laws against evil because God gives us the freedom to do what's wrong, even though God doesn't like it, and he wants us not to do wrong. So therefore, no laws. Is that your view? That's anarchy. Antinomianism. No laws. Is that what you believe? Pardon me while I steal your purse, bust you in the mouth, take your car, fire you without cause, steal your money, because God has given me the freedom to do that.
I suspect that somebody making this argument has not thought clearly about what abortion is. I think this all goes back to, whether or not you kill your child is just, it's not really a major thing. It's just your preference or something like that. Because otherwise, I don't think she would say this about murder. I'm sure she wouldn't say this about murder of any born person. So I think if you just go back and you start talking about what abortion is, that could help resolve this whole issue.
Yeah, you have a higher view of people who make these kinds of arguments than I do. Because I've actually seen people carry it, well, even infanticide is being promoted by people nowadays, and all kinds of other crazy things. So, I mean, men can get pregnant. I mean, that's the view with so many people now. And whatever sex you are is something that was assigned, as if penises and vaginas don't come as part of the equipment, of babies. Nobody assigns that. So this just shows how people that are let free can go crazy. And this is, Romans 1. God, all right, you want that? I'm going to give you over. And off they go. And this is, so you have more confidence. This is why, you show people pictures, and you know this, of aborted children. And this is part of our presentation. We do these kinds of presentations frequently. Here's what we're talking about. You make it real. People are more angry, oftentimes, at the people who took the pictures than the people who did what the pictures depict. So what's up with that? Anyway.
This isn't, You bring up
How
something
dare you,
interesting here, Greg, because I think what happens sometimes, if you make the case, if their heart is hardened and they're set on supporting abortions for their own purposes, and you make the case that's the same thing as killing your child, if people are open to the truth, then they will say, oh, well, then I shouldn't have an abortion. But if their heart is set on it, then what they'll reason in the opposite direction to the absurd conclusion, which is, oh, then I can kill my born children.
That's right.
You can follow the logic either way. And
Yeah.
what I'm starting to see is that when I use these arguments to show people how absurd it is, I'm seeing more and more people following that reasoning
That's right.
into the wrong direction.
Well, this is, we've actually been talking about this and writing about this for a long time in our blogs and our articles in Solid Grounds, and this is a logical slippery slope, okay? In other words, if you take this point of view and you apply the same logic to other circumstances, this is where it leads. And one, it could slip one way. It could say, well, if it leads to infanticide, logically, if abortion on demand leads to justifying infanticide, and infanticide is wrong, then abortion on demand should be wrong too, for the same reason. Or you could slip the other way, and this is what you're seeing. Well, if abortion on demand is right, then infanticide, and it's not any different than infanticide, then infanticide ought to be right. It could slip either way, and I definitely see this. In fact, now it's been probably at least 10 years, but there was a paper by two Italian philosophers, who talked about afterbirth abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I predicted this years before it would happen, but I didn't choose the term afterbirth abortion, which, I mean, who's doing their PR? That's not a very good way. They're promoting abortion after birth, but afterbirth is the residual from birth. It's like yucky stuff. So that's like not a good term. I call it postpartum abortion. So if abortions are okay prepartum, before the baby's born, then postpartum abortion should be okay too, which is de facto infanticide. And it's not even de facto, it is infanticide. And so I signaled that this was coming, and then it came, but they could have at least used my term. It would have made it sound better than afterbirth abortion. But this is exactly what people like Peter Singer is acknowledging, the ethicist over at Yale.
People want to have
Princeton.
consistent ideas. And so when we're using these analogies, or we're trying to show people where their thinking leads, now is the time to do it, because the farther we go down this path, the more people we're going to see going the opposite direction.
That's right.
So
they're going to drive that car right over the cliff and smile doing it.